finished level 1 that's why we took the quiz. So now we're on level 2. We're going to do a little bit of jumping around for level 2. We're not going to go in the traditional order. So lesson 1 is just a review on level 1. And so you guys already just took the quiz, so I'm not going to worry about that. Level 2 is about using a calculator, and I know you guys know how to use a calculator, so I'm not going to do that one. And then level 3 is a short one, so I'm going to do that on Friday. Today we're going to do 2.4 and 2.5. So lesson 2.4 is on rounding numbers, and lesson 2.5 is on estimating numbers. So we're just going to get going on that. 2 homework assignments. Most people have finished at least one of them today. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started on rounding numbers. Oh my gosh, why is this not working? I've had so many computer problems today, guys. Okay. Rounding numbers. Why do we round numbers? To make numbers easier to understand. You might use it for a future job. It's easier to pay someone. Like if it's like, okay, you owe me $4.30. It's like, dude, I'm just going to give you a 5. And then it helps with adding and subtracting. So rounding means finding a value near an exact amount. It's sometimes easier to use numbers that have been rounded. You round to certain place values. We've talked about place values before. We did it in the last level. So we're going to be using that again. So steps for rounding numbers. Step 1, underline the digit it wants you to round to. Step 2, if it's 5 or more, or you're going to look at the number to the right of the underlined digit. If it's 5 or more, you're going to raise the underlined number by 1. And if it's 4 or less, you're going to leave the underlined digit alone. Step 3 is to put zeros in all of the places to the right of the underlined digits. So for rounding, here's a fun little rhyme. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, give it a rest. So that's just a fun one to think about if you need like a little rhyme to help you. So hold on, I'm writing something down. Okay. Next, round 426 to the nearest 10. So what number is in the tens place? The 4, the 2, or the 6? Type it in the chat. Good. Okay, I'm going to change my my picture or my video over to the document camera so that you guys can do that. Okay. So 426. Step 1 is to underline the number in the tens place. So that would be the 2, like you guys all answered. Good job. Correct. Okay. Step 2 is to look at the number to the right of the underlined number. So the 6. So is 6 bigger than 5 or smaller than 5? You can just type bigger or smaller in the chat. Bigger is correct. So I'm going to add 1 to my underlined number. So what's 2 plus 1? 3. So then this 4 just stays the same. Nothing changed with it. And then the 6, and then step 3 is to put zeros in the place of the numbers to the right of the underlined. So instead of a 6, I'm going to put a 0. So my answer is 430. Okay. Now we're going to do an example with money, and then I'm going to let you guys practice one. And then we'll do a couple more. Okay. Round $25.16 to the nearest dollar. So what is in the dollars place? Which number? 2, 5, 1, or 6? Okay, yes, 5 is in the dollar place, so I'm going to underline that. Step 1, underline the 1 in the dollar place. Step 2 is the digit to the right, bigger than 5 or smaller than 5. So it's smaller. So since it's not bigger than 5, it's going to stay the same. So I'm going to write 25 because it stays the same. Step 3 is to put zeros in the places of all the numbers to the right of the underlined numbers. So my answer is 25. Okay, does anybody have questions before I let you guys try one on your own? Okay, round $423.19 to the nearest hundred. So once you do that, go ahead and I'm gonna, don't put your answer in the chat yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna try and do this. We'll see if it works. Don't put your answer in the chat. Do not. Okay. Okay. I just put a poll in the chat. You should see it. So go ahead and put your answer in the poll. Do you guys see the poll? I'm not getting any votes. Did it not pop? Oh, I got 2 votes. Okay. Put your answer in the poll. Yay.
I don't see no poll, no nothing.
You don't? Okay. Well, maybe your Google Meet hasn't updated yet. So don't worry.
All right.
I'm going to give you about 1 more minute for the poll.
I updated it and there's not even a poll there.
Oh, interesting. I have 9 votes, so it's working for some people. I'll have to ask our tech people why some people have it and some people don't. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And yes, the correct answer is 400. So good job to those of you that got it correct. You see a yellow screen. Weird. Huh. That's annoying. Maybe it's like almost there. Okay. So yes, the correct answer is 400. So 423, I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth and get 400, but I'm going to show you how I did it in case you're confused. So 4 is in the hundreds place, so I'm going to underline. That's step 1. Step 2 is the number to the right. 5 greater than or equal to 5? No. So then my 4 stays the same, and everything after my underlined number becomes a 0. So that's how I got 400. And you can add the 0.00 or you can just write 400. They're both the same and correct. Okay, this is like a trick question, but I know you guys are super smart and you're going to get it. But just for those people that don't quite understand rounding, I'm going to explain it. So I have the number 999, and the question asks to round it to the nearest hundred. So my first step is to underline the one I'm rounding to. So that would be the 9, the first 9, because this is the hundreds, the tens, and the ones, and we're rounding to the nearest hundred. Next, I look at the number next to it, which is also a 9. And so since it's 5 or more, I'm going to raise the score. So I'm going to add 1 to the first 9. So 9 plus 1 is 10. And then step 3 is to put zeros in for the rest of the numbers. So this 9 and this 9 become zeros. So then your answer is 1,000. Okay, I'm going to skip that one. Okay, now level 2.5, estimating practical problems. So this is, you take what you've learned with rounding and now we're going to use it for estimating. So estimating just means to guess. So we're going to make some not guesses, like we're going to use rounding to estimate and guess. So let's say that you're at Harvest Foods, you have $20 and you already have 3 things in your cart, but you're at the check stand and you're like, crap, I want that bag of hot Cheetos. Can I pay for it? So you remember that one of your items was $4.95, the other one was $12.32, and then the last item was 50 cents. So you want to estimate to see if you are over $20 or if you have enough money to get that bag of hot Cheetos. So you're going to round those numbers to see if you can get that item. So $4.95 rounded would be $5, $12.32 would be $12, and 50 cents to the nearest dollar would be $1. So then 5 plus 12 plus 1 is 18. So that means you do have enough money and then you still have $2 so you can get those hot Cheetos. So this is one reason we estimate. It gives us a quick idea without doing exact calculations. So when you're trying to estimate or do math quickly in your head, you can round the numbers. So for example, instead of 107, you could think 110. Instead of 23, you could think 20. Instead of 1,492, you could think 1,500. And instead of 333, you could think 300. So notice how 107 became 110, so that's a little bit bigger, but then 23 became 20, that's a little bit smaller. So you just kind of take whatever it's closer to. If it's closer to the bigger number, you can round to the bigger number. But if it's closer to the smaller number, you can choose the smaller number. So notice how all of them end in zeros as well. So ending in 0, it's easier to calculate numbers that end in 0. For instance, 110 plus 20 is easier to add in your head than 107 plus 23. 1,500 plus 300 is easier to add than 1,492 plus 333. So we round numbers to estimate easier. This just says that if you end in zeros, it's easier to divide by 0 because you can divide divisible by 10, divisible by 100. So that's all that says. So reasons to use estimation. So there are several reasons. 2 of the main reasons are to find an approximate answer. So that means like a close enough answer, not exact, or to quickly check your results after you work a problem. So estimation is helpful when solving word problems. Suppose you interviewed for a job and they said your salary is going to be $8.25 an hour, but you're going to work 40 hours a week and you want to know what your paycheck's going to be. So you're going to multiply, you're going to round $8.25 to $8, and then you're going to multiply that by 40. So then that gives you a rough estimate of what your paycheck would be. So that's much easier to do in your head than 8.25 times 40. 8 times 40 is a little bit easier than 8.25 times 40. Okay, so that's homework 2. That is lesson 2.4 and 2.5. Now I'm going to assign homework 2.4 and 2.5. They are all due Monday at midnight.